Okay, you must have heard about this, right? The tech world is absolutely buzzing right now.
Oh, yeah. That number especially.
Exactly. An eye-watering figure. $6.5 billion. That's apparently what OpenAI paid for this kind of mysterious startup, IO.
And the names attached are just huge. Jony Ive, the Apple design guru.
And Sam Altman, the face of OpenAI and ChatGPT. It's quite the team up.
It really is. And looking at the sources, what's fascinating isn't just the money, though it's staggering, or even just pairing these two titans. It's the mission they've actually stated.
Which is?
They're explicitly teaming up to design a brand new kind of device,
Right.
something built from the ground up for advanced AI.
And potentially pulling us away from screens. That's the really intriguing part.
Exactly. Moving beyond the screens we're all glued to.
Right. The speculation is just wild. I mean, what does the guy who basically designed your iPhone build with the company that's building the future of AI?
It's the big question.
So today, we're going to take a deep dive into the sources you shared with us. We'll try to figure out what this collaboration is really about.
Yeah, unpack who Jony Ive and OpenAI are in this specific picture, what they might actually be building.
And maybe most importantly, what it could all mean for how you end up interacting with technology, down the road.
Okay, so let's get the confirmed facts straight first, based on those sources.
Great idea.
The headline news. OpenAI did acquire Jony Ive's startup, IO, for that reported $6.5 billion.
Which is just massive for OpenAI.
It's their biggest acquisition ever, apparently. So that tells you something, right? They're not just dabbling here. This is serious.
And Jony Ive, I mean, most people, even if they don't know the name, they know his work. If you've held an Apple product from, the late 90s to 2019?
Pretty much. The iMac, iPod, iPhone, iPad, MacBook Air.
Game-changing products, not just popular, they shifted entire industries. And that famous partnership with Steve Jobs, right? Obsessed with simplicity, that essential form.
Finding solutions that felt, as he apparently liked to say, inevitable.
Yeah. He left Apple in 2019, started his own firm, Lovefrom.
And then co-founded this IO startup just last year, 2024. So relatively new.
And Sam Altman, well, he's basically Mr. OpenAI. ChatGPT really put them and him on the map globally.
Absolutely. But it's also who came with Ive to IO and is now part of this OpenAI hardware push.
Right, the team.
Yeah, former senior Apple designs and hardware people.
Yeah.
Names like Scott Cannon, Evans Hankey, Tang Tan. The sources are calling them a hardware dream team.
You can see why. So, okay, you've got this dream team, you've got the AI leader. What's the official story? Why are they doing this?
Well, the public announcement was pretty vague, honestly. Talked about a new family of products and moving beyond traditional interfaces, which could mean a lot of things.
But they've elaborated a bit more on the thinking behind it.
They have. Both Ive and Altman have said that our current ways of interacting, screens, keyboards, mice, might just not be the right fit anymore.
For AI, that can do more.
Exactly. For AI that can now see, think, and understand, as they put it.
Yeah.
They argue our devices were built for an older type of computing.
And so the experience of using really smart AI is kind of held back by these old interfaces. Makes sense.
That's the core argument.
Okay, so they want something new for this new AI era. And this is where, the rumors start flying. What are people saying this thing might actually be?
Well, based on the chatter and some details reportedly leaking from meetings, the device is rumored to be completely screen-free.
Screen-free.
Pocket-sized.
Yeah.
And designed to be like a natural ambient companion. Something that brings AI into your physical world, not just stuck behind glass.
Screen-free and pocket size. My first thought is this another one of those AI pins? Trying to replace the phone?
Altman actually pushed back on that exact idea. He specifically said it's not a smartphone replacement.
Oh, okay.
And not glasses either. He called it a third device.
A third device, so something you use as well as your phone and laptop.
That seems to be the concept. Maybe it sits on your desk, maybe you carry it, but it's additive, not a replacement.
Okay, a third device with no screen. How?
Yeah.
How do you even use something like that? How does it talk to you? How do you talk to it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the $6.5 billion question here.
All right.
The sources suggest the interaction is meant to be much more conversational, more ambient.
Meaning?
Think heavy reliance on voice, really good voice recognition, maybe multiple microphones to understand context, like where you are, who's talking.
Okay, voice makes sense. What else?
Haptic feedback seems likely, subtle vibrations, taps, ways for it to give you information or confirm things without needing a display.
Like your watch tapping your wrist.
Sort of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then sensors, lots of sensors. Motion, environmental conditions, possibly even cameras or LiDAR, the laser mapping tech.
To understand its surroundings.
Exactly. To give it real context about where it is and what you're doing, the goal seems to be this really natural, almost effortless interaction.
That vision, the natural, ambient, effortless thing. That sounds pure Jony Ive.
It really connects back to his whole design philosophy, doesn't it?
Making technology feel simple, almost invisible when it works well.
Totally aligns. His focus on simplicity, on honest materials, premium feel, striving for designs that just feel right or inevitable.
So we can expect something beautifully made.
Oh, almost certainly. Obsessively crafted. Really feels solid, substantial, but looks incredibly simple. Think unibody construction, subtle textures, minimal visual clutter.
No seams, no screws, maybe no buttons.
If they can manage it, yeah. And the materials, speculation aluminum, maybe ceramic, that fits perfectly with Ive's track record and the premium positioning.
But hang on, running advanced AI ambiently, maybe without always needing the cloud.
Yeah.
That takes serious horsepower, right? On the device itself.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Running complex AI models locally needs significant processing power, and you need battery life to support it.
Which points to
Custom silicon. Specialized chips designed specifically for AI tasks. That's a massive undertaking in itself, but probably necessary for what they seem to be envisioning.
this whole project, it feels like it's tapping into something bigger, doesn't it? A shift, not just in AI, but in how things are even designed.
Definitely. Let's bring in those insights from that Harvard
Yeah.
Business School source you flagged.
Yeah.
It laid out a really interesting way to think about how AI is changing innovation, changing design practice itself.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Talk us through that a bit.
Okay, so the HBS piece argues that AI is fundamentally transforming the context for innovation and what designers actually do.
Traditionally, design was, human-driven. People designing things for groups of users, right?
Yeah,
Segments.
Exactly. Very human intensive. You design for segments, you release updates periodically, new phone model each year, software updates every so often. It was kind of a linear process. Research, design, build, release, repeat.
Right.
But the source introduces this idea of AI factories. Think about companies like Netflix or Airbnb. They aren't just designing one static thing for everyone, or even for segments. The AI is automating these core problem-solving loops. It can personalize the solution for every single user dynamically, in real time, using vast amounts of data.
So Netflix isn't just designing an interface.
Right. Its AI is figuring out which shows to recommend specifically to you right now. It even decides which thumbnail artwork to show you because it thinks you'll be more likely to click on it based on your past behavior.
Wow, an Airbnb.
Same idea. The AI dynamically prices listings, it matches guests to hosts, it optimizes search results tailored just for you. It's solving the problem uniquely for each user, constantly.
So what happens to the human designer in that kind of world? What's their job if the AI is doing the moment-to-moment designing?
That's the crucial shift. According to the HBS source, the human designer's role becomes less about crafting that final, specific, personalized solution. The AI handles that within the system.
So they move upstream.
Exactly. They design the problem-solving loops themselves. And critically, they focus on sense-making.
Sense-making.
Yeah, deciding which problems are actually meaningful or valuable for the AI system to tackle in the first place. What are the right goals? What should the AI optimize for? It's about defining the purpose and the framework.
Okay. So connecting this back, this Ive OpenAI device, it kind of looks like a physical attempt to build a whole new system, a new problem-solving loop.
And a completely new interface for it.
Right, an interface built specifically to enable that AI-driven, super personalized, real-time interaction.
Free from the limits of our old devices, which were built for that older, human-centric, segment-based way of designing things. It's potentially a new channel for that continuous AI personalization the HBS article describes.
It makes the scale of ambition make a bit more sense, maybe. What are they actually saying about, market goals?
Yeah, the ambition is, well, it's huge. Sam Altman has apparently stated the goal is to ship 100 million units.
100 million?
And get this faster than any company has ever shipped 100 million of something new before.
Wow. That's aiming high.
Incredibly high. He even floated the idea that this could add potentially $1 trillion in value to OpenAI.
$1 trillion from a device with no screen. Okay, so given Ive's involvement, the tech, where does this thing likely sit in the market, price-wise?
It's got to be premium, right? High end.
Right.
Given the design focus, the team, the likely custom hardware.
Yeah.
Speculation in the sources puts it maybe in the $499 to $799 range, probably targeting tech enthusiasts, early adopters first.
And any word on a timeline? When might we actually see this thing?
Apparently, a prototype exists. Altman has mentioned using one.
Okay, so it's real, at least in some form.
Seems so. The target release date being mentioned is late 2026.
Late 2026, that feels really fast for creating a whole new product category and ramping up production to hit those kinds of numbers.
It's incredibly ambitious,
Yeah.
which naturally brings us to the challenges.
Yeah, there's got to be some major hurdles here.
Oh, huge ones. Maybe the biggest is just user adoption.
Mm.
Why will people actually need this? Or want it alongside their phone and laptop and maybe smart speakers they already have?
It has to solve a real problem, right? In a way nothing else does.
Exactly. And that value proposition needs to be super clear, not just to tech nerds, but to regular people. That's tough.
And then there's the elephant in the room, privacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An always-on ambient device, that just screams privacy concerns.
Surveillance data collection.
Yeah. They'll need to build trust from the ground up. Privacy needs to be baked into the design. Policies need to be transparent. It's a massive challenge overcoming that public skepticism.
Plus, they're not alone in thinking about AI hardware.
Not at all. Everyone's exploring this space. Apple, Google, Meta, they're all working on glasses, ambient concepts, integrating AI deeper into hardware.
So competition is fierce.
Definitely.
Yeah.
OpenAI and Ive are making this huge bet that they can carve out a genuinely new category, maybe even bypass the current giants by offering a totally different way to access and use AI.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. This OpenAI acquisition of Jony Ive's IO, that $6.5 billion deal, it's a really significant, ambitious play.
Absolutely. It's all aimed at creating a fundamentally new class of AI hardware.
Leveraging Ive's design genius and OpenAI's AI power.
To build this screen-free ambient device that's designed for the age of AI, not adapted from older tech.
It's a massive investment for OpenAI, creating potentially a direct hardware line to users. And for Jony Ive,
It's a chance to define another era, right? He shaped the personal computer era at Apple, then the smartphone era. Maybe he sees this as the third big wave, the post-smartphone era, and wants to shape that too.
and bringing it back to that HBS idea, it really feels like a physical product that embodies that shift, where AI does the detailed problem solving.
And the human focus shifts to that higher level sense-making, deciding what problems are even worth solving.
So thinking about that shift, where AI handles the how and humans focus more on the what and why, here's a final thought for you, the listener. How might a device like this, designed specifically for that kind of AI interaction, change what you see as the most meaningful problems that technology could or should be helping you solve?
Yeah. What becomes important when the interface changes so dramatically? Interesting question to ponder.